Jamaica, Jamaica, no. Jamaica, Jamaica, no. Jamaica, Jamaica. Welcome to Jamaica. Welcome to Jamaica. Welcome to Jamaica.
Hey, how you doing? Here we are, episode 5, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. It's the Jamaica Basketball Project. My name's Rick Turner. I'm the head coach of the Jamaica national basketball team and national coordinator. And we have started these live streams, I guess, to talk about a little Jamaica basketball, to keep yourselves occupied and slightly entertained, I guess, during the coronavirus 2020. And some of you, if you're in Jamaica, I know, are under a curfew situation. And so just kind of give you something to check out and something to talk about. And so we've been going through. Our last episode was mostly me kind of talking about philosophy and some of the things that I have planned, and we talked to Rowan Robinson, one of my assistant coaches, and we've talked to Kamani Friend, the great Jamaican basketball player, and then we talked to another assistant coach, Kyle Plank. And tonight, before I bring him on, I'm going to bring on my trusty sidekick, and it's is it a dad joke to say it's an embarrassment of riches when I have Rich Mialovich on to help me out? Rick and Rich, just a couple of dicks hanging out, you know, doing a little Jamaica basketball. And Rich, you're about to meet a really good friend of mine. Oh, there's Brady. You're about to meet a really good friend of mine, Coach Stumbo. It's a big day.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. Do I have my audio going okay?
Yeah, you sound great. I'm gonna
Okay, good.
before I bring Coach Stumbo on, I'm gonna show you this picture right here, because this is what he does in his day job, or I should say his night job, and he'll tell us all about that. And I'm gonna bring him on now. Here he is, DJ Stumbo. How you doing, buddy?
I'm cool. How is everyone?
Good. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. You did.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on. What's going on in Jamaica? Give me an update in terms of like the virus stuff. You guys are you have a curfew, so no one's out.
Yeah, we have a curfew for the holiday because you've been to Jamaica. I don't know about Rich, interesting name.
Yeah.
the girls would go wild in Jamaica over your first name. Rich. Anyway, so we're still at the 3 o'clock curfew. When you had Rowan, I think we were at the 8 o'clock curfew. So now the curfew is earlier because it's the Easter holiday, Easter Monday. So Jamaicans would always be maybe at beaches. Would be throwing parties at the jerk pit. Would be out.
Yeah.
And this virus is testing Jamaicans because now we have to stay inside. And we're not used to this.
No.
We're not used to this in Jamaica.
So what did you say, 3 o'clock?
So, no, at 3 o'clock, everybody has to be indoors.
PM?
Yeah, 3 p.m.
Oh,
and
wow.
this will go straight back until 5 p.m. in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So no one should be on the road. And only essential workers.
That's
like,
not,
nurse, doctors.
Yeah. That's not good for the life of a DJ.
No, definitely. DJs are struggling at this moment.
Yeah.
DJs are really struggling. Hopefully, most of the disc jocks saved. Some save up for what we call the rainy day.
Yeah.
But it's maybe a rainy month or maybe months.
So is there any kind of date set to when it can ease up, or is it just we're gonna wait till this thing clears up, or is it up in the air for you guys, or what?
I think there's no projected date. I think currently as is, it is set where the 20th of April of the month April schools should reopen. but I think they will be extending it.
Oh,
I think they will be opening school on that date. But that was the date that they gave the last time. Today I
yeah.
was actually wondering, doing some brainstorming myself, and wondering how best we could deal with this situation in terms of will it really stop? Will this come to an end? You know, because of course this is a virus that is basically out of control, highly contagious, and I don't think Jamaica has the resources to manage. Even though we're managing well, we're doing extremely well. I must give credit to our Prime Minister at this moment. We're really doing well. But you know,
Mhm.
you can never tell how long it will last. No, we can never tell. We're not sure where it will go.
Yeah. So the first episode, I don't know if you saw it or not. I talked to Rowan a little bit, and he had a really bad connection.
Yes,
So
yes,
it was hard to hear him, and I wanted to ask him this question that I'm about to ask you,
yeah,
and then I had Kimani on, and I just forgot to ask him. But the thing I was wondering about, and maybe you don't know, but tell me if you do, up on the
yeah.
North Coast with all the resorts, are those all shut down, or are people still going on vacation and
Oh,
staying up in
those
McGrill and
those things are all shut down.
everything?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Like today earlier, I was watching the news earlier, and midday news this was, and they showed the farmers and stuff, and they were basically questioning Jamaica, how long Jamaica can last, how long Jamaica can actually feed itself. You know, seeing that airports are shut down and stuff like that. And the farmers were saying, "Yo, we're ready. We can feed the nation. We have the supplies because the hotel industry not taking anything from farmers right now. So you have
Yeah.
to find other means now to, feed the nation, so to
Yeah.
speak."
It's
So
a scary situation, right?
say again, not
It's a scary situation.
very scary, very scary.
Yeah.
And you would know Jamaicans, we're the how we greet people, how we shake hands,
Hmm.
is, we're close contact
Yeah.
persons. So
Yeah.
this is really, really affecting the Jamaican culture, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not much longer. Let's talk about better things.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think of this whole live stream deal?
Uh,
Good idea?
very interesting, very different.
Yeah.
Because I think Jamaicans were not that open to the to,
Mhm.
the- to the world to openly speak, and maybe because of my feature as a selector, that's another part of my personality where I can just openly flow, and then I'm speaking with a good friend here, so
Yeah.
I can just go ahead, and it's kind of like one on one. It's not so much the world,
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
just
you're generally a pretty quiet guy, so it's hard to get you to talk much.
yes. I guess it's my time to talk now.
Yeah, that's right. Well, let's talk a little bit about just your involvement with the program and I know being the head coach, you kind of have to say some things to me, but I would imagine you're kind of excited to be a part of the program and step in and as part of the staff and hopefully exciting things ahead in the future, right?
Yes, yes. For me, definitely. I think I'm one of the younger coaches who, now in the country, they have pushed me up somewhat.
Yeah,
Yes, we have some success, but for me, that's not really nothing because we haven't made that break out to the world as a nation.
yeah,
And that is where my eyes are set and my goals are. But this is a very big deal for me. This is me coaching at the highest level, gaining the opportunity to express myself at the highest level. And the big deal for it is me learning,
right.
and now I'll be able to learn and bring back things to my country. So hopefully I can, produce another coach, produce the players that we need to produce as a nation to compete with the world of basketball.
Well,
Yeah.
another learning experience that you had this last summer, was with the U17 team,
Yes.
and kind of put that together. I wouldn't say at the last minute, but it was we decided to get that thing going. Where was that
Yeah.
tournament in Puerto Rico?
Yeah. It was in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and it
Um,
wasn't great results, but given the kind of the short time that they had together,
I
what
think
give me your thoughts.
I think it wasn't great results in terms of competitive basketball. Um, the youngsters were way ahead of our youngsters, so to speak. But truth be told, we showed great character. We won one game, and that was actually our last game. And the guys, they went out there, they listened, they followed it, they tried their best to follow instructions, and we played good basketball, for I would say a very little, too little of time, you know. Um,
Mhm.
but it was a lesson for every one of those kids. It was a challenge and it was a lesson. And I know that tournament impact Jamaica youth basketball program significantly. Because now kids are working to be a part of the next under 17 tournament, you know.
Yeah.
And I think this year we have a nice pool of youngsters which would fall in the under 19 category. So it's up to um, our associations if we can garner the funds to keep sending these youngsters to these tournaments, and I know we will do better.
So this game, I just pulled this game off of YouTube. This is the Virgin Island game. Did you guys win this game?
This was the game that we won.
Yeah, cool. So if you're watching, it's Jamaica is a team in white.
Yes.
So talk about some of the kids that were on that team.
Right now the kid with the ball right now, that's Kyle Otar, and
Oh, he
he
banked it.
plays for Rowan National League team. Kyle Otar. So
Yeah, and he had a really nice summer too, didn't he?
yes. And that kid worked relentless on his game. He's a hard worker. He's a hard worker on his game, and especially after this tournament, because he saw where he could compete with the guys, but he did not put in the work, and he admit that fact, and he came back home in Jamaica, work on his game, and he's really looking good now. You have a youngster which was an international player,
Right.
Josh Minot. Uh, Um,
And he ended up hurting the knee at the end.
yes, he felt if he's that tall kid defending now.
Right.
Yeah, he played extremely well throughout the tournament. I think he fell second for MVP. He was extremely good, a great talent. Um, he's highly scouted overseas right now. Wonderful youngster. It was an honor to work with him. We had one of the captains was Denroy Watson. He's a player that I coach a part of from my program at Camperdown High School. Um, did well, an undersized big man,
Yeah.
but in terms of leadership, he led the team well. And as I said, this was a learning experience for the kids also, as much as for myself.
Yeah.
The other coach that went was Coach Lindo, the coach that's the coach ahead of St. Catherine High School program, and he has produced a lot of youngsters
Yeah.
locally and overseas. Some very good players.
How did the kids kind of handle all the travel and a lot of those kids have never even left the country before, right?
Yes. Because there was another kid that had a visa issue, which we think could have helped the team, but he did not get the opportunity. But it was a experience. It was an experience for
Yeah.
everybody, coaching staff, management staff, everybody. It was a experience, and the kids they just took it all in. They're traveling, I must say, to the guys in Puerto Rico, the management staff, organizing staff. They did a great job. The traveling was smooth. Everything was on time, on schedule. Um, Everything that we needed, we had. So um, it was just fun for the kids
Yeah.
and a lot to take in terms of learning this wonderful game of basketball.
Yeah. It looks a little like the arena was under quarantine. There's no fans.
Did that kid just throw one down right there?
That was like one of the shockers for us because we thought that the stadium would have been jam packed, international tournament and stuff. But it seems as if unfortunately youth basketball is not as supported as it should.
Do you remember who won this tournament?
Oh my God.
I don't remember.
Um, I'm honestly not remembering off my head right now.
Yeah,
Um,
that's all right.
oh my God.
And when was that when was the tournament?
The tournament was in October, was it?
No, I think it was.
No. Why am I not
Yeah,
remembering?
it was last summer.
It was
Oh,
summer.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was summer. Yeah.
And those can I ask? And those kids, that's a U17 team. Is that what you said?
Yeah. U17.
And are most of this, and so are most of the kids? I mean, 16, 15,
Yeah.
16.
Most of the kids,
Okay.
16, 15.
yeah.
We had
So
we had a
some good size.
We didn't have any younger kids.
yes, we had Kyle is one of the younger kids.
Oh, okay.
Kyle
Yeah.
will still be eligible to play that tournament if it's playing this year.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think any tournament will be played this year.
So I know you
Right
like to. I know you like to brag about Camperdown. You
Brad,
know, I
wow.
know, but just talk about kind of what's going on in the high schools and the young kids that maybe have a chance to compete at a higher level, not just with your school. Although I mean, feel free to talk about your kids too,
Yeah.
but just everything that's going on from a youth level down there.
From a youth level, for the persons who have seen basketball in Jamaica at the maybe the best level it has ever been, they would say that this level is low. But for me and where I come in, I've been coaching for probably 18 years now, 20 years, something like that. And where where the high school basketball is the level is, I think it's getting to getting back to where it should be. Getting to where it should be. I think we have some great coaches. Like we can speak to Coach Ludlow, Coach Goofy at Calabar program, Coach Cunningham at JC, and as I said, Coach Lindo at St. Catherine, wonderful coach. Coach Spidey at Arden program. KC program has been boosted with Roger Marshall, who I think you remember Rowan called his name about one of the great shooting guards of this game when it comes to Jamaica basketball. Um, so Casey is back on the planet where it comes to basketball. And of course you have Camperdown basketball program, which I am a part of. And all these programs are doing really great. You have Mr. Coach Edwards at Old Harbour. That program is doing really well. Also, Coach Sully with Manchester. Mr. Dave Black, big time coach, down by Irving Harrison. So I think we have a lot of coaches that are doing well, and the coaches are fighting to improve themselves, so that they can better able to help their players become better players, help their team become better teams. I think
I kind of know some of the answer to this question, but what are some of the challenges beyond money? I mean, everyone could use more money when it comes to uplifting programs everywhere, really. But what are some of the challenges that you guys face? Just, I was down there, I think it was like last September or something. I can't even remember when it was, September, October. And I went to a couple of high school games.
yeah,
And I want to tread lightly here because I'm not attacking the officials.
yeah,
But one of the officials showed up an hour late, which pushed the games back an hour, which meant that, and I think it was a semifinal game, they couldn't finish it because it got dark,
ooh.
right? And there was no lights on the court.
So
So I kind of wonder, was that like a one-off, or is it kind of getting that part of the organization down?
I think in terms of with referees and Jamaican coaches are guilty of going at referees so much. I think that's our whole entire basketball needs help, needs improvement. I think the players are improving. I think coaches are improving, but I think the referees are struggling to improve. You know, that's my personal opinion on it.
Well, and that's well planned, right? Because, and I was talking about this the other night. When you're trying to improve a program, you don't just look at players and coaches, although those are a big focus.
Yeah.
But improving administration and officiating
Yes.
and game presentation,
Yes.
and making sure games start on time and making sure that it doesn't get dark or that you're playing on a court that has light.
And,
all of that stuff
and these things are so very important to basketball and the promotion of basketball. And I should say the promotion of sports. But seeing that we're talking about basketball, let's stay to that. If a game should start at 3, if media come at 3 to do a little footage and maybe catch the end of the game for highlights and stuff like that. If there's an issue where something happens, because I don't want to be sounding like I'm picking on the referee here,
No.
but if something should happen and impact the time of the game, it will also impact media people, and these are the persons that we need to give out information so we can have persons becoming fans of basketball, supporters of basketball, and then eventually you will have that big talk now where we'll have sponsors of basketball. So these things are extremely important to our basketball and our development, and we have to work on it. And I say we, so that coaches know that I'm also calling on them, and I'm calling on my referees, I'm calling on my administration, and I'm calling on all the stakeholders, shareholders of basketball in my country. Help us move basketball forward, and it only can happen together.
Yeah. That's great. Those are great words. But what do you think, I don't know if you know this term or not. I'm going to say, can you take the temperature of basketball down there? Meaning, do you get a feeling that there's an excitement beyond just the people that play? Or is it the people that are playing right now that have to lift it up and bring it to a wider audience? Or do you think there's people that want to get behind it, but they just are like, prove it to me first?
I think it's a bit of everything that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have some people who want to be fans but don't know how to be fans. In terms of time, information being dispersed. I think the persons who are into basketball are not promoting themselves, like for example the players, the coaches. They're not promoting themselves as basketballers, so people can't know. Not even, you'll have somebody like, for example, me and you, Rick, we're friends, and I play basketball and you don't know. You just have me as somebody who go down the street and play some pickup ball and maybe over a school or something like that. But you don't know my games, my time games. There's nothing for somebody to follow. So I think we have to promote basketball within that little circle that it is already, and then start dispersing it out and pulling in other persons. So that's a very important.
I do know you can't go right. You're strictly lefty.
Huh?
You're strictly lefty. You can't go to your right. I know
Yes,
that's the scan report about you.
That's not good scouting report. I've been working on the right. The hook shot works.
Look at this guy. Lloyd Crookshank says, "Hey, Coach Stumbo."
Yeah, Crookie. Big up. Big up. And that's one of the big time coaches. That's one of the big time coach there.
Yeah.
Lloyd
Here's a question. What is Coach Turner's projection for the Jamaican team as it relates to Paris 2024? Well, I mean, I'll get your input here as well, Coach, but and I'll talk about Paris 2024. I think that is something that we should talk about as much as possible. And because I think the more you talk about something, the more it becomes reality. And it's also the more kind of pressure you put on yourself to make it happen. And so when I started in this position, I started hashtagging Paris 2024 and talking about Paris 2024 anytime I could. because I want that type of pressure, and I think it's something that we can get to. When I think about how we get to it, I touched on this in the previous episode. There's a group of players, and I've sent you the list, and you've looked over it yourself, and I've sent it to our entire staff. There's a group of players that come in three categories. Number one is the players that are currently playing overseas that are Jamaican. The second group of players are players that are playing overseas that are what we call naturalized. In other words, they only have a Jamaican parent or grandparent. They weren't born in the country, which means you can only have one person on your roster. And then the third group is probably the group that you are more in touch with than I am, but I hope to be soon, is local Jamaicans. And so we're in the process as a coaching staff of putting, collating that list together and, trying to figure out, when, who are guys that we absolutely have to have, and who are guys that would be in a tryout mix. We're certainly going to have a tryout for anyone that wants to be a part of it. But that's kind of where it's a little early to be thinking who's in the mix for Paris 2024, but it's certainly something that's on the top of mind. In terms of the list, you saw the list. What do you think of? I mean, don't you think there's some promising guys that are in the pipeline? Yes. Some of which have played on the team in the past, and some of which are upcoming, right?
Yes, and I think it's something to motivate our basketball, because recently, of course, the National League hadn't been playing for a while, and that is now back up and running. And the athletes, I think it's the competition is a bit low, the level, but once everybody get back physically into it and the athletes get their body where they're supposed to be, it will be extremely competitive. And we're seeing a good thing now with the break, with this break that the pandemic gives us. People are doing workouts at home, in-house, trying to get their body ready. So when after this pandemic, hopefully it's over sooner than later, we'll be seeing very competitive basketball. You have some youngsters who were on that list, and they are really just giving it their all, working out, because they want to make this dream a realistic dream.
Yeah. Also, we want it to be sustainable. Not something that you put a lot of work into for 3 or 4 years and then it goes away. It needs to be something that's sustainable, that grows on itself, and you're fielding a U19 team and a U17 team and a U15 team, and it's feeding the pipeline, and those kids are going off and playing year round and then coming back when the opportunity presents itself for international competition.
Yeah. One of the things that will make this sustainable is what has been happening in community like the Majestic Garden community with Coach Mr. Calvin Martin, who is the head of Southern Conference, doing a really good job down in that community in where it concerns basketball. It's producing a lot of talent, and talent at a very young age. That is a community that we can produce maybe, as I was just about to say, the under 10, they can compete at age under 10 and play good basketball. You have the Raytown community that is also following the footsteps as the Majestic Gardens community. They are doing really good when it comes to basketball on a community level. And of course, you know about my program that I run, the IYSL basketball program, and we're now trying to form an under 10 group, group, maybe 8 to 10, and we're looking to have them compete. Maybe the Raytown, the Majestic, and if there's other communities that will be able to follow in the footsteps, and they will be a part of this too. But that will be what makes this basketball sustainable. Yeah. Because as you know, in Jamaica, because you have been here with the jump ball basketball program, you have seen our kids we'll be very athletic, we'll be strong, but in terms of understanding the game, the technicalities, and the fundamentals that you'd have to learn from maybe when you're 5 years of age, and we're starting to learn those stuff at age 14, 15 sometimes even older. So it's obvious that we need to start with our basketball level very younger at a very tender age and get them um, doing the basic fundamental things from early and consistently.
Well, you just touched on it. That's all experience and opportunity, right? It's not, you don't, it's great to have great coaching and it's great to have mentors, but to me, basketball is getting out and on your own, getting shots up, working out. Obviously you can use your coaches and I mean nowadays you can get on YouTube and find workout videos on YouTube and
Nowadays,
take
they
a ball.
literally don't need a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it's those opportunities and experience to get out and play at a younger age, and I think kids are doing that, and we'll see that.
We're seeing more of that now.
Yeah.
And
Do you see that video that I did? That was from Majesty Gardens last summer. You remember doing that? That was fun.
when we came up, yes, that was real fun. And I
Yeah.
love the age group that we worked with. Was the younger kids,
Yeah.
and
We walked onto that court. There was like 5 kids shooting on the court. And when we about 5 minutes later, after we walked on, we were just swarmed by about 80 kids, it seemed. They love it.
So much, and that goes to show that there's the interest there, just to give these kids the opportunity to play, and to learn the game the proper way.
How did you get turned on to coaching? Like, what was it for you that attracted you to want to be a coach?
Nothing attracted me to want to be a coach.
Yeah.
I'm like a failed basketball player. I tried playing based on my height and size, and mass, of course. All I could do was rebound the ball on the court for the guys and stuff. And that was basically my career: grabbing the rebound and passing it out to the shooting guards, and try to get another one. Say again? No, I'm very short, but
how tall are you? About 6'5", 6'8"?
About 6'3". Yeah, I'm not that
6'3"?
tall. Yeah.
Okay. You play big though, because you got nice hands and you rebound and pick up space.
Yeah, take up some
Yeah,
space.
knock people around.
Yes, that also. So
what is this? I think this is the All Stars, isn't it? From Star Search. Is this the All Star group here?
Star Search. I think this is the All Star team, or maybe one of the teams.
Yeah,
yes, this is the All Star teams.
Yeah. And this is from Jump Ball.
Yeah, I can see where I'm losing some of the weight. Thanks, B.
Nah. So, talk about that a little bit, because you've done something. Just to rewind a little bit, you've done something that I've never done, which is the rural clinics for Jump Ball. And you and I have been working together for what, maybe 15 years or longer? How long have you been doing Jump Ball?
I think I've been doing Jump Ball from coaching, so about 16 years, something like that.
Right. Yeah. And then part of the program is that we do the camps in the rural areas.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, because I know that that seems like when we announce the names and give out the slots for who's going where, that always seems to be kind of a fun part of the meeting. Talk about what it's like to go out to the rural camps.
All right, so first and foremost, it's extremely fun. We Jamaicans coaches, we don't tend to get any time off, any week off. So the rural camp, even though we're going there to coach and we're going to coach, we get to have a little fun.
Cool.
Of course, we Jamaicans, we enjoy our hotels, and at times we get a chance to just enjoy. So that's a part of the fun. But it's also fun to go there and meet this kid that would be inspired by you, motivated by you, and you got to just be on top of your game at all time because you never know what you will be saying to this kid that stays with this kid. So
Right.
they keep you on your toes. And what one of the fun things with the rural camps, comparing to the Kingston camp, is the rural kids. They just want to learn. They're just
Mhm.
there to learn. Where you find like with the Kingston camp, you'd find a couple players that think they know already, and you know which nothing is wrong with that. It's okay to be confident and stuff. But with the rural camp, you'll always find the more humbler kids, and they're just waiting for you to inspire them and motivate them.
Yeah, that's cool. I know you guys, but I just want to piggyback onto that a little bit because Kyle and I the other day were talking about just kind of the impact that you have as a coach that we all have as coaches that you don't even sometimes appreciate when you say things that you think are not that big of a deal but it really sticks with a kid and it
Yes,
has an impact with them for a long time.
yes.
You find that to be true?
It is factual. It is factual. I have a youngster. When I started coaching, it was at with the Vauxhall High School.
Hmm.
Where the one of this high school is the type of high school that you'd call where this the more ghetto type at risk youths. We find
Hmm.
at this school. And there was a youngster who, interestingly, one of the things that I would say, if I can't teach you basketball, I can make you fit, and you will definitely be
Hmm.
fitter than me. And he would struggle because he wasn't coordinated. He would struggle, but he had a great mind. And one of the things that I said to him, and I never remember saying it to him until he called me up, and
Hmm.
he's now doing really well as a youngster, young adult. And he's like, Coach, you are the one that said to me that, hey, even if I don't become a great basketball player, I will be successful in life. And he's now successful. And for him to remind me of my exact words saying to him, and this is like maybe 10, 12 years ago, it was touching. It was a very touching
Yeah.
moment. You know,
Yeah. Very cool.
it's
Yeah.
factual. Coaches have to be always on top of their game because you'll
Yeah.
never know what will inspire and motivate that youngster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich, did you have a question you want to ask Stumbo? I don't know if he hears me.
So while Rich is thinking on his question, I would go ahead and answer quickly as fast as I can how I got
Yeah.
into coaching. So after playing the
Okay.
sport for a couple of time, we started a team in my community, which is Rallington Town Community, in East Kingston. Big up the East Side. So um, while playing, we got a couple of coaches, and it never worked out. The players were adults.
Hmm.
So, and in Jamaica, when you're coaching a club team or a community-based team, I should say, you don't have a salary, and sometimes the players that are on this team can just get rid of you as a coach. So, the guys said, Stumbo, this man him can't coach. The way you normally organize play basketball and stuff, it's best we just have you a coach the team. So I went ahead and heard of a certification course because we're in the division one at the
Hmm.
time, and did the certification course. It's where we did the certification course like this last week, um, Friday and Saturday, for example. This
Okay.
week, this week Monday. At the time I was I wasn't working, and there's a mentor of mine, Mr. Bradley Lecky. Always close to him, always around his office or stuff. So he had a delivery to make
Mhm.
at Vauxhall High School. We went there to see the principal while making the delivery, and the principal was like, "Hey, I need a basketball coach, Mr. Lecky. I really need a basketball
Mhm.
coach. These kids are killing me." And he's like, "Whoa, I have one here." And from there was just no turning back. Took the job at Vauxhall, from Vauxhall to Excelsior. Um, very short at Excelsior, unfortunately, because that's my school. Rowan is there. They have a great coach there. Um, and now we camper down. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got involved.
There we go. Cool. That's great, man. Rich, did you have a question you wanted to ask Coach Stumbo?
Well, you guys were talking about that U17 tournament in Puerto Rico. I wonder, I mean, what are the other international types of tournaments? I mean, for any ages between say now and 2024. I mean, realizing that the most recent Olympics was just pushed back to 2021. I'm just curious what other how often are there going to be opportunities for international tournaments?
All right, so not 100% sure, but it would seem based on because I check a bit of history and how these tournaments go, and it would seem the tournament that we went in is a tournament that is held every 3 years, right? And they do it in different nations, different countries. You have others that they do every 2 years, but I'm not aware of any that is done yearly. So I think they just give you the time to grow with the program, because that's how I recognize they structure it. So the group that would be coming from under 17, there will be an under 19 tournament coming up for that group. So if your nation can keep that group together, they should be being be competitive enough, and then that would traverse over to maybe the European basketball, international basketball, so to speak.
Yeah,
I think the important thing about that, one of the things that you just touched on, because I think that's certainly true, and I hit on it earlier, to have a U15 team, a U17 team, a U19 team, and they grow. But I think what is important is that you're not locked into 10 kids at the age of 15, because everyone develops at a different pace, right? So one of the things that I know we've talked about, as a staff and with the JABA administrators and whatnot, is once we get properly funded and in a position to field all those teams, we want to make sure that everyone knows that each year there's an opportunity to compete with that team, and we're not just locked into the same 10 guys.
Definitely, that would be the best way to do it. And if it was up to me, the only way to do it.
Well, I remember myself, I'm sure neither one of you are in this boat, but myself, when I was 14 years old, I was terrible. I know I didn't start getting good until I was 17, and I probably, wasn't really that good until I was 18 or 19, honestly. So,
unfortunately, I was never good.
Yeah.
Well, there's always, I mean, there's a development of kids for sure, and I think when you're showing the video, and I've seen that video of the really young kids at the camps, that's when the earlier you can start getting kids starting to do it, and then the reason that as they have somebody, like any sport, you have something to look up to.
Yes.
It's so huge. And I've coached in some other sports, and I was lucky enough, like I know Rick was, to have good coaching at a young age, which is part of it too. But and as Rick said, and just having kind of a love for the game at a young age, and that's how you start to build it. Where then pretty soon, it just starts to grow and grow. So I love the idea of having, but it has to be built. You have to start it, and so having the younger kids, and it feeds up to this team that makes the 2024 Olympics is kind of that goal. And anyway, it's just I'm glad to be kind of here working with Rick any way I can to help with exposure. I think it's a great story, and I've just I've known of how Rick's been involved for a number of years. So I'm just I'm super excited from where I sit in this whole thing. I'm a fan. I'm a supporter.
The program that brought Rick here is the jump ball basketball program. Um, that is the same program that grew me as a coach. I have so much. I'm lost for words when I speak about that program because that is a program that has led me on the path that I am now. A better person, better character. And the coach that I am today, I contribute that to jump ball basketball program. And
That's
with
fantastic.
this man now being a friend, a mentor, the coach that will be leading me, it is an honor. And I must say, big up
Fantastic.
to our basketball program.
So
Are there one more question, Rick, if
yeah,
you don't
go
mind?
ahead. Yeah.
Is there and then it looks like there's another question there. Are there, kids some of the kids that you coach, they're younger kids, I mean, and say 15, whatever, younger kids from 12 to 15, and older, do they look up to it? Like some of these kids that are, I say kids, some of the young men that are playing Division I basketball in the States, or guys that have gone on, Jamaicans that have gone on to play professionally in other professional leagues. I mean, are they aware of those players, or is there any,
Yes.
you know what I'm
If
saying? I mean, is that followed very well?
Yeah, if as I don't think we are dispersing the information properly in terms of what is happening with our basketball players overseas. I don't think the Jamaican media is doing a good job at that, and I don't think we who are shareholders, stakeholders in basketball are doing a good job at spreading the word. Letting someone know that, for example, like a Nick Richards, Kofi
Yeah.
Coburn, Romario Gill. Those are three big names that we can call that are doing extremely well in college. I think all three of them looking to go into the draft or is already
Yeah.
in the draft. And we think they should be in the league because these are all good rim protectors, shot blockers. Some of them.
Well, that'll be, yeah, and that's
So the
I
kids
think, yeah.
definitely look
So
up
that
to these persons.
so that all of a sudden kids start to look and go, oh my God, you have something to kind of look to and go, oh, okay, I see the path of these guys. They're sort of like me. They're just they went through this path, and look at the opportunities. And it's not necessarily all about making it professionally. And as you know, I mean, some people will play professionally, but just the opportunities, I think that come up, and that will arise, that
Yes.
maybe now they're just not even, they wouldn't even be thinking about, when you kind of have something to look up toward. I certainly had my idols. I played baseball when I was younger, and I didn't play professionally at any real level, but I mean, I look back at what they were able to do for me. So I don't know. I just think there's really some really, really cool things
Yeah.
happening as I've learned more about Jamaica basketball from Rick, and I just think it's an exciting time. Unfortunately, we're just, I just started getting involved with Rick, and then this whole COVID-19 thing came around, and it just kind of, it's just like, we're going to get through it, but it's made it a really interesting time. It's made it, there's a new normal right now.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Yeah.
3 o'clock, you're indoors, but I think we're going to get through it. We're going to move through
Definitely.
it. So anyway.
There was a kid. There's a group in Jamaica that call themselves the Interview Squad. They're doing a very good job at promoting basketball in our country. And one of the things that they try to highlight is youngsters that are doing well. They highlighted a youngster who is, oh my God, he's going to a high school now overseas. He's from the Campion basketball program. Big up Campion basketball program. That's one of the programs that are doing very well, especially at the under 16 and under 14 level. They're doing really well. As I was saying, Daniel Isaacs, when the interview squad was interviewing him, at the same time they interviewed me as a coach. And one of the things that I never forget this was something that struck me. They asked him who was his favorite player was. I was expecting to hear Michael Jordan, even though he did not see him, or Kobe Bryant, or LeBron, or one of those NBA players. And he said Michael Rogers, and that is a Jamaican player who
Okay.
at the time was playing for the coach that was last interviewed, Ron Robinson, St. George's Slayers, and that was a big deal for me. That stand out for him to be looking at somebody playing in his national, his nation, and this is a young talent that is doing extremely well. And he saw the talent in a Jamaican adult working hard at his craft. And I also would like to just use this time and this moment to let the Jamaican athletes who are in basketball know that you are a role model. There's a next person watching you who wants to be you. Own your craft. Be the best you can be on that court for the next kid that you will motivate and inspire.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
let's. I want to direct. Lloyd asked me this question, but I want to ask you also, Stumbo. What advice would you give to local athletes who aspire to represent Jamaica as part of the team? Let me direct that to you first.
All right, so basically what I just said, be a role model, own your craft, master your craft, be the best that you can be, out there, so that whatever opportunity presents itself, you'll be ready for the opportunity. Because a lot of us want success, and a lot of us not willing to put in this work, and like for years, me growing as a coach in this sport, one of the things that you'd hear is like, yo, the national team are just the overseas ball them gonna use. We hear that so many times, repeat, and the local players feel like they're being locked out, or somebody cheating them in terms of cheating their opportunity. But the truth is, the coaches have a very tough job. It is a very tough job, and whenever it comes down to selecting someone and versus selecting another person, it is a very hard task and a very hard job. But the person who will get that job is the person who have worked so hard, harder than what words can maybe express, and able to express themselves when the opportunity presents itself. That will be the person that is selected. So, Jamaican ballers out there, just work on your craft, work on your craft, work on your craft, and please remember, work on it.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
I think I would just eliminate any excuses, because as a young player, a young athlete, there's always opportunity to figure out reasons why something doesn't work for you. And it's always really easy to try to blame somebody else or point a finger at somebody else as to why things don't work out. And there's a saying, when you point your finger at somebody, three point back at you, right? So generally speaking, if things aren't working out for you, all you have to do is look in the mirror. And so, kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, Coach, is don't let there be any excuses. Do everything in your power every time the opportunity presents itself to get better. Go get better, and don't. As you said, these are hard decisions for coaches, but don't make it a hard decision. Make it an easy decision. Make it be someone that you can't live without. I mean, the obvious stuff is getting out and working out. Get stronger. Be a person that can put the ball in the basket. Be a person that can really defend. Be a person that understands understands what rebounding position is, and understands how to go get the basketball and how to make a proper outlet pass and how to get a transition break started. Find something that you can excel at and be that. And then there won't be any way that we can keep you off the team. So no excuses. And I think expect greatness. I have a guy I used to work with named Lorenzo Romar, who coached the USA Basketball for a short time, and he used to work with Kobe Bryant. And one of the things he told me after a USA Basketball practice was that the two hardest workers on the USA team were hands down, not even close, Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. And you would think that those are the two guys that wouldn't have to work so hard because they're so good and so talented. And I mean, through this tragedy with Kobe, we've heard story after story about the work that he put in and the Mamba mentality and all that stuff is real. And so if you want to be a great player, the only one holding you back is you. So there.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Definitely, I appreciate it. Now the world knows me.
Nice to meet you, Coach.
I can't wait to see you again, and I can't wait to maybe a bus trip out to Ronnie's for a little post-camp party where Coach Stumbo does a little stand-up routine on the way out there, and we've had some good bus rides out to Wicky Wacky Drive.
And we coaches love the wait at the Pegasus.
I know, man. Coach Stumbo, I appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Yeah. Rich.
All right.
Nice to meet you. All right.
All right.
Be well.
Mianos, thanks for hopping on, man.
Hey, yeah. Sorry, I got a call I got a call in the middle of it. It just, I'm on my phone, obviously, and it just kicked me right. It kicked me right off.
Yeah.
So I got to work on that. I tried to decline it.
How are you guys holding up during quarantine 2020?
You know what? I feel like I've kind of eased into whatever it is. I've eased into whatever this is for me. Well, kind of, but and this week my son's on spring break, so he's he doesn't have his online learning, which is a little different, but we're doing fine. We went up and played a little catch. It's baseball season.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. So, how are you hanging in there?
Well, thanks for hopping on. Stumbo is awesome.
Yeah,
he's a great addition to the staff. And I touched on it the other day. He's going to, along with his coaching duties, he's also going to kind of spearhead a video program for us. And so we're off and running, man. And I want to get the word out and be talking about it while people are cooped up during this time. And so we'll continue to get some people on here, and you and I will trade some stories. But good
Glad
stuff.
to be a part of it. Glad to be a part of it and do whatever I can do. Good story. All right, man.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
You're welcome. Be well. See ya.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. Thanks for joining us. I'll try to do it. Today's Monday. Maybe try to do it Wednesday. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Keep your eye on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll get something else in the hopper. But it was fun to talk to Coach Stumbo. And until next time.
Jamaica, 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 Jamaica.